Welcome back to episode 2 of Chit Chat and Change. I love how I'm calling these episodes even though I literally don't even upload it as a podcast and I'm literally just filming in my room with a microphone. Hopefully someday this will be uploaded as a podcast. First, oh my god, I cannot believe the overwhelming amount of love that you guys showed me from my first video. I was really nervous to upload that because just some people just don't get it, you know, when it comes to like therapy and psychology, like, and I've accepted that, and I've just like accepted that people are on their own journey and I can't convince them otherwise, you know. But the fact that there's so many of you out there that are like, that can relate to me, that you guys like are so understanding and so supportive, like, that was insane to me. I really did not expect that response, and I want to thank you all so much, because they're like, literally that was the one thing in the world that I've always said I wanted to do, was just to be able to help somebody in some way or another. Literally hundreds of you DM me, and I'm still in the process of getting back to people. I'm trying to get back to as many people as possible, but it's like really hard because then I want to sit down and like read all of them and really devote my full attention to them, because I think you guys deserve that. And I'm so happy that so many of you have said that you decided to go back to therapy after watching my video, and that means the absolute world to me, because like, it just means that you're going to be the best version of yourself. So I helped you in one way or another, and I can't thank you enough for that. A lot of people also messaged me that they're in similar situations with their relationship, and that me talking about my relationship inspired them or motivated them or enlightened them in some sort of way, where they were able to make that decision of whether or not they see a future with the person that they're with. That's so empowering, because sometimes, like, I feel like I've seen a few videos while I was in a relationship with Vincent, and yeah, it really does help to just hear somebody going through the same thing, just so you know that you're not alone, and like, your thoughts aren't crazy, and that it's okay to put your future children first and your future self first in situations like that. Is totally okay. That's what we should be doing. And it's just, I feel like in general, like, women in general, I have to whisper because my dad's right there. Women in general aren't taught about gaining our own autonomy or our own agency. That's just something that's not really promoted in our society, I feel like. And then also, it's like demonized when a woman does it. Like, I've been slut shamed more than I've ever have in my entire life after I broke up with Vincent, like, all because I broke up with Vincent and decided to put myself first. Like, it's usually men who are doing this because they're projecting. I received so much love from older women, which that really meant so much to me, because a lot of the hate comments that I do get usually come from either men or older women. And so I always just feel like I'm hated by older women. And I'm sure a lot of young girls can relate to that. But like, the love that I received from older women after posting that video, that really helped me. That healed something inside me. So thank you so much. If you were one of those older women that reached out to me, it means the absolute world to me. I promise you, at nighttime when I do my prayers, I'm actually praying about everybody that watched my video and that is going through something, or that reached out to me. Like, I'm doing those prayers for you, and I'm sending so much love your way. And I believe in energy, spirituality, prayers, God. So I do believe that the positive energy that we create, it has an effect. It definitely karma, you know? What you give is what you get. From a lot of the responses that I saw, a lot of people want advice on like how I was able to leave somebody that I love so much and like decide to put myself first and my future children first, because that, like, some people don't understand. Just because you leave somebody doesn't mean that you didn't love them, or you don't currently still love them. And I think it's one of the most tough decisions that a human being like encounters during the human experience. Like, seriously, I think it's a really tough, difficult lesson to learn, and that's why it is so hard to leave. That's why. And that's another thing, is like, some people were like that I led Vincent along and I strung him along, and if I knew that we didn't have a future, then why did I stay for so long? Like, no, I was very open and honest. That's one thing about me, is that I also just can't shut my fucking mouth. So like whatever I'm thinking, I say out loud. And so Vincent was well aware of this problem. He was my best friend. So like, who do you go to about your problems? Your best friend. So I went to him about this problem. Like, this is the issue, is that I love you, but I don't think that we're going to get married. Like, I don't think that you're going to be the father to my children. Like, I don't think I can make that decision. And I would express this to him over and over. I mean, throughout our relationship, it was always on my mind. And that's why I initially broke up with him 2 years ago. But then, you know, with Vincent, this is when his portion comes into play. And yes, I do think that one of my downfalls and one of my weaknesses is that I stood that long. Like, that means I wasn't strong enough to make that decision at the time. And that's one of my weaknesses. You know, I stuck around to try to fix him. That's literally my part in it. That's my part, and that's what I need to work on so I don't do it ever again. Because I saw somebody say, like, oh, she's not accepting any fault in the relationship. Like, no, that is my fault. My fault was staying around for that long. At the same time, I wasn't being deceitful. I was actually communicating everything that I was feeling at the time to Vincent. But his part comes in where he has avoidant attachment with certain things, and in this instance, anything that could possibly be painful or difficult and challenging, he avoids. So like, I would bring it to his attention and he would defer. Is that a word? Defer? He would defer. And then he would just be like, I'll change, like, just give me some time. Like, he would beg me to stay with him, essentially. So it's one thing to come to somebody about this problem, this issue that you're facing, like, hey, I love you, but I don't know if we have a future. And then it's also, that's an inner battle, because that's one problem in itself, is that the person doesn't even want to leave. Like, technically, you love this person, you don't even want to leave them. Like, you want to be with them forever, but like, you know that it's not gonna end up like that. And so even that alone is hard to leave. But then if you throw in somebody, the other person asking you to stay and promising change and saying, I'm going to change and I'm going to go to therapy and I'm going to do this and this, of course the person that loves the person is going to believe them and stay and just repeat the cycle. It's like, I'm going to change, nothing changes, then you fight, then it's brought up again, and then the promise of changes, you know what I mean? My advice to anybody watching this that just doesn't get it or just doesn't understand, sometimes it's okay to not agree with something, but to be open to hearing them out and not to jump to conclusions. You should always allow the possibility in your mind that maybe you just don't get it. Like, maybe it's your brain that's not being able to conceptualize what is being said. I just feel like some people just don't process that. You know, like, when I see something, if I don't agree, my first thought is maybe there's things that I don't know. Like, maybe there's background, I don't know. Maybe she said something in another video. You know, like, some people just jump right into the conclusions. Like, I was called a narcissist. I was called, oh my God, just so many things. Yeah, so that's my advice to anybody watching this that wants to be a hater and immediately just shit on a person. Just think for a second. Like, maybe I don't know the full story. Maybe you have a bias that doesn't allow you to see the perspective that I'm coming from, and that's okay. Everybody has their own perspectives. You don't have to agree with everything that I'm saying. I'm not holding a gun to your head saying go to therapy. What else did I want to cover? To the girls that reached out and said, how did I find it within myself to make that decision? I really wish I could give you the answer, but I genuinely, like I said, I'm very spiritual, and I just feel like everybody's on their own journey. I feel like you'll know when you know, and it sucks if it takes a while. I understand that. You might look at it as a waste of time, but I don't think it's a waste of time. I think there's definitely valuable lessons and experiences of happiness with that person that I think it was worth it. I don't believe in viewing things as a waste of time. I think everything is meant to be, and everything that has happened was meant to happen. I definitely think, obviously, the quicker you get to have that strength to do that, the better. But that comes with therapy. I feel like therapy really helps with that. I mean, therapy is just all about learning about yourself, learning about your weaknesses, your strengths, things that you have to work on. It's just literally learning about your mind. We're here on Earth, and we're so lucky to be here, and we're in this body and we have this brain and our brain has our soul. It's like the human experience. Like, don't you want to know the most you can about your soul? Like, about your brain? I don't know. I do. Therapy is just one part. I think finding God, whatever that is for you, finding God, finding love, finding friendship, human connection in general, spirituality, connecting with nature, like all these things play into learning about yourself, connecting, having a strong connection to yourself, because you're stuck with yourself everywhere you go. Like, no matter where you go, you're stuck with yourself. Every experience you have with every person, the only common denominator, oh my god, why can't I say that word? The only common denominator is you, no matter what. I don't know. I think in every aspect, like every angle you look at it, like even if it's career-wise, like knowing your brain, knowing yourself, it can help you in your career. It helps you in your social life. It helps you in your family life. It helps you in every aspect of your life. Like just even your relationship with yourself, like just happiness in general, just happiness being. Where was I getting at with this? Oh, okay. Sorry. So to the girl, so yes, I would say definitely focus on yourself, learn more about yourself. I obviously would encourage therapy, but I know that's not for everybody, but I would definitely encourage that. I think that really helped me a lot too, because a lot of times in our childhood, we are subconsciously taught to question ourselves and to question our intuition and our agency. And that's really the main problem in making those decisions, is just not trusting your intuition. Like, if you're in a relationship and you know, damn, I don't think this is going to be good. Like, I don't think this is going to result in a healthy, happy marriage with a healthy, happy family. Then trust yourself. Like, trust yourself. Believe in yourself. If you're telling yourself that and you're looking out for yourself and you love yourself, then trust yourself. And obviously, it's easier said than done. Obviously, like I said before, there could be things like dogs mixed in, careers like me. So it's a gradual process. So don't expect yourself to be ready. Like, it's okay not to be ready to do that. But I also think you should definitely be open and honest with your partner, because if they think that you have a future with them and you're not telling them that you don't see that, then you're kind of blindsiding them. So that's not good. I would definitely communicate. And obviously, if you're in a situation where you feel like you can't communicate that to them, then I think that's probably not a great relationship to begin with. Being okay with just being your genuine, true self. That's one thing that I'm really, it's becoming a very prominent thing in my life right now. Just being myself. And also, when you're nothing but yourself and you're just genuine, like you're just you, it's pure innocence, first of all, because you're not doing anything to get the approval of others. You're just not doing anything bad in your life. You're just being yourself. There's nothing to feel guilty about. But when you're not being yourself, you might gossip about somebody just to get along with other people. You might hurt the person in your relationship because you're not being honest with them. You're hurting yourself the whole time, because not being yourself it's exhausting. Not being your true, authentic self takes a toll on your body and your mind and your soul. Like, it really is exhausting. It's very exhausting to constantly put up this facade. I think everyone in our society can relate to that. Like, I think everybody does that. I mean, I also think it's a human condition to want to get approval from others and to mask any of your bad parts or any of your parts that you find shameful in order to get the approval from others. I think it's a human thing. But I think as you go on your healing journey and you become more connected to yourself, you'll just find out that it's not necessary. You'll find out that you don't even want the approval. Oh my God. You'll find out that you don't even want the approval from those people, because they're only approving of you for what's not even you, you know? Does that make sense? So my advice would be honest with your partner. Just have a conversation with them. Tell them where your head's at. Always remember that there is room for change. There is absolutely room for change. And it's very specific to each individual circumstance. Everybody's situation is different. The most important thing is the only person that knows is you. So trust yourself. Learn about yourself. Do things for yourself. Treat yourself kindly. A lot of people think in our generation, sometimes health, being healthy, is associated with hating yourself. But so this is how I view it. When I have children, I want to give them the best diet ever. Like, I want to give them the cleanest food ever. I want to give them no chemicals, give them the best nutrients possible. I want them to be able to grow and be healthy. And that's because I love them, right? So if I love myself, then I'll do the same thing for myself. Obviously, if you're being healthy for the approval of others, for the way you look, then you're not doing it for the right reasons. But I do think loving yourself is giving yourself the best possible food, you know, giving yourself the best fuel for your body. And then also that goes hand in hand with also not being so strict with yourself, enjoying life. Like, life is about cookies and brownies and dessert and whatever else. I know for me it's about dessert. Treating yourself, you know, fun, health, friendship, happiness, and love. That's what life is about. So I think like the healing process is not even just about therapy. It's like a broad range of things. It's just about happiness, like being in that energy. What do the spiritual people say? And being in that energy level, those frequencies, the happiness frequency, the full of life frequency, and that requires a lot of things. It's, you know, it's even getting education, like whether it's through college or school or not, like you can educate yourself in so many different ways, reading books, traveling the world, meeting new people, seeing different perspectives, like enhancing your brain, enriching your brain. That's another thing. The health is another thing. Walking, connecting with nature, allowing yourself to experience peace. I feel like in our fucking society, like nobody experiences peace, like just being peaceful and mindful and silent, like allowing yourself to experience silence and bliss, you know. This sounds so insane. This is what I struggle with, is the perfectionism of doing these things. So doing all of this can really cancel out if you are a perfectionist and you're upholding yourself to those standards. Like, if I don't do this, and I feel like a lot of people, like if you have OCD, this could be really troubling, because it's like, oh my god, well now I just had a negative thought, like, oh my god, that's gonna ruin my whole day, and oh my god, well now I didn't go on a walk today, I didn't connect with nature this whole week, like my life's gonna suck. Oh my god, why is my face getting red? Also, allow yourself grace and balance, you know. Not every week has to be as productive, not every week has to be as spiritual. You don't have to always be in a good mood. So you have to allow yourself to also be human. That is what I'm learning right now. So I feel like I started doing the first half, and then I fell into this problem of not allowing myself to be a human that makes mistakes. Like, I'm not a robot that's just going to do everything perfect every single time. I believe that when you're doing all these good things for yourself, and you care about yourself, and you're treating yourself with so much love and kindness, that's when everything's just going to fall into place, and God's going to guide you. That would be my advice. It's just love yourself. I mean, in the simplest form possible, just love yourself and treat yourself with love. And there's no rush. Allow yourself to go at your own pace. I also saw somebody comment to be careful, because when you become a parent and you have that mindset, you can possibly fall into the perfectionism, like I was just talking about, but with parenting. And that's something that my therapist actually has already mentioned to me, because I think I'm going to struggle with that as a parent, and I'm gonna bite it in the butt before it gets there. Even with my 2 dogs, I definitely struggled with that. Like, for instance, my family has fostered dogs and kittens my whole life. We've had so many dogs. And my dad is a person that believes that a dog is there to work for you. He would always say that. With my dogs, I believe that the same way I don't want to traumatize my children, I don't want to traumatize my dogs either. A lot of people, the way they raise their dogs is just so terrible. Like, I really hate it. I know a lot of people are definitely going to disagree with this, but this is my way, okay? This is for my dogs, okay? I'm not saying that you have to do this for your dogs. I think dogs should definitely be trained. I think training is great. I think dogs like performing tasks for their owners. I think it keeps their mind enriched and stimulated, and I think that's all good things. I'm not saying don't train your dogs. I just think there's a way to go about training your dogs, and a lot of people disguise their rage that they have with their dog as training it. When you train a dog, like let's say your dog is barking and going crazy when he sees another dog, like you becoming in a rage and like using your body language and screaming at the dog to stop, like is trying to intimidate the dog into fear so that he's fearful of you in order for him to stop barking. That's not training. Like, that's just you having rage issues. I'm guilty of this. I'm so guilty of this. I understand the furious rage that you get into when your dog bites your new heels. Like, I get it. I just don't want to traumatize my dogs, so I don't believe in that. Like, if you're going to train your dogs, make sure that you're completely regulated. Like, whatever you're doing is not out of anger and annoyance. Like, train them to train them. Don't train them with rage. And they'll sense that. Like, dogs are very smart. They sense your body language. I love how I'm talking about dogs right now. Like, what? Apollo, my dog, who now lives here, he is so not traumatized that, like, it's almost too much. He will not move out of the way for you for anything. He sits there. Nothing makes him jump. He just lays there. And I'm proud of that. I'm sorry. I'm very proud of that, because that means that I didn't traumatize him. I need to allow for human mistakes. Like, there will, and especially raising children, like, oh my god, I can't even imagine. I'll probably make so many mistakes, and that's okay. Like, I have to allow myself to make mistakes. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I know a lot of people wanted to learn more about my upbringing. When I was thinking about doing this video, I was debating on whether or not I should start with that. And then I kind of like, I don't know, technically, like, me talking about my childhood, like, I'm talking about my parents, you know? I don't know if I have their consent. I know I have my dad's consent. So there's probably some things that I'm gonna have to withhold, even though eventually I want to get there. Like, eventually I want to be able to be totally transparent with you guys. I know that there's probably people out there that experience very similar situations as me, and if I could help those people, that would mean the world to me. So I want to get there, trust me. I think I could definitely disclose, like, my upbringing with my dad. I think that I could definitely get into. I think that it would actually be even funny if I had my dad come on my podcasts. I don't know how to hook up two mics, like, to a camera. If you guys want to see that, I could totally do that. Yeah, but I definitely do want to get into more about my upbringing and being the fixer, the parentified daughter. If you guys commented or DM'd me, like, what exactly you would want me to talk about, like, what could help you and what you need to hear or what you want to hear, what stories you want to hear. Anybody who reached out to me, I can't even put into words how much it means to me. Like I said, I could literally die now. I probably have this written in my manifestation journals that I just want to be able to help somebody who's been in a similar situation as me, and that, like, that's what you guys are showing me that I was able to accomplish. I pray that you guys find so much happiness. All of you guys are just so amazing and kind. In our time, in our generation, I feel like we witnessed really a lot of bad things in this world, and it's depressing. Like, it could really make you doubt humanity and just think everything's evil and everything's terrible and corrupt. But seeing this, I wish you guys could just read all the messages that I got, because it really changed my perspective. Like, I really have so much faith in humanity. I know it sounds so silly, but I really do. Like, there's so many of you guys out there that are just amazing, and, like, it just makes me feel not alone, you know, because I thought that I was alone with these thoughts, and I don't want to cry. I'm just so happy that there's so many. Oh my god, why am I getting so emotional? I'm just so happy that there's so many of you guys out there that are just so amazing and full of love that it just makes me happy for the world, honestly. Just for the world. I'll be praying for all of you. I hope this was enough. I hope I covered whatever I didn't even plan anything to cover, so I hope I covered something. But in the next episode, I'll read your comments and see what you guys want me to talk about, but I'll probably start getting into my family drama. No, it's not family drama. My family dysfunction, and maybe even have my dad on the podcast. Thank you for watching. See you guys soon.